Prepare yourself for an entertaining and somewhat informative hour of MMA Talk Radio.
My mission here is to motivate.
Out of the red corner, Joe Show. Out of the blue corner, Timbo Slice. And your host, Fight Fit Lifestyle founder and UFC fighter, Stephen Ocho Peterson.
What's up, guys?
How
We're
you
live another Friday at noon.
We're
Man,
alive.
crazy freaking week, huh? Crazy week last week. Last weekend we had a great time at the fights, the UFC fights. This week we got full moon. Friday the 13th. Today is Friday the 13th.
Oh, shit.
It's raining outside. It was like 80 degrees yesterday. It was beautiful. And everybody's freaking out about the coronavirus.
What's that?
It's panic.
Panic in the world.
Yes, a lot
My
of
doctor
panic.
said it was bullshit. That's what my doc said.
I think they're making a big deal about it, but I mean they're trying to prevent everybody from getting.
Old people like me dying. Is that what you keep saying?
Yeah. So
That wouldn't bother me. Thanks, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're standing right here.
I'd say infants, and they said kids can be carriers and not even show symptoms.
And give it to old people.
And, yeah, and you know They say it takes 5 days to show symptoms, and
You're most contagious in those first 5 days.
right?
Without symptoms.
Without symptoms, you can still be pushing it on to other people. So yeah, I mean, just wash your hands, be clean. If you're sick, stay the fuck away from other people.
Yeah.
I mean, like, people are inconsiderate normally when they're sick, right? They'll still. I mean,
They'll go to work because they need to get paid.
in martial arts, we have guys showing up to the gym sick, and they're just pushing through, and they might not even think about it, but they're really being selfish, and they're giving it to everybody else. We've had sicknesses.
Is that selfish when you're going to share that much?
Yeah, you're sharing a bad time. Is what you're doing. So yeah, I mean, we've had guys get sick and bring it into the gym, and then within a week, everybody's got the flu. Like in something like this, all it takes is one person to bring it into a gym or a basketball game, and now 50, 100 people keep spreading. So I think by shutting it down, they're trying to prevent the spread of the mass spread of the virus.
Is it going to be like the flu and come back like every year? It's going to take a while to get rid of.
I don't know. If they just let it, if everybody's quarantined, then nobody's going to contact anybody, and it should die off, right?
About a year. It'd probably take a year, I bet. I went to the doctor, man. My doctor said, man, it's all a hoax. He goes, man, it ain't.
It's a virus.
It's a virus. He said it's like the flu. He said it's in the same the same family as SARS. He goes, man, just wash your hands. He goes, all this other stuff is just.
But it's more contagious.
Are those people that are dead, or were they part of the hoax? Well, that is the terrible part. People have died from it.
Yeah.
But
and you don't want to get it. And although you might be fine, you bring it home to your family, and then Grandpa dies at 70 years old.
You bring around somebody that has other health issues. That's
right.
The big concern. So
my whole family had the flu, and I was nurse for like a month, and man, I never caught it. I never even got the flu.
Right, yeah, you keep a strong immune system and hygiene.
Yeah.
So be safe out there, people.
Yep.
And they're changing the whole. All sports have been canceled.
Pretty much, yes.
We're the one
Shut
sport
down.
we got balls, and in MMA, and we're like, screw it. We're still gonna fight because it's not just get rid of the crowd, and then there's not a mass gathering. How many people are there? 100 people at the venue, likely running the event and competing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 100 and something people.
Commissioners.
It's on TV.
There's one beer guy.
Well,
you can hear him, cold beer, here.
So let's just say you get on the flight, you're on your way there, someone sits next to, even a pilot on American Airlines had it. So you get it on the plane, they get to the fighter, gets there, he's doing different things. Is he sharing it with the ref? Is he sharing it? How many times is that if he gets it with or even the ref gets it or has it, he's repping multiple fights.
Right. It could pass on.
It could pass on very quickly.
So I believe the UFC's got to be really smart about this. I am certain they're going to test guys. They're going to test everybody, make sure everybody's clean.
I think it's like The Walking Dead. Did you watch that? everybody has it. Everybody has it. You ever even watch The Walking Dead?
We're all carriers.
We're all carriers. We all have. Did you watch The Walking Dead? Nobody's watched The Walking Dead? Damn, what's wrong with you
Maybe
people?
some of our listeners will relate, but
Yeah.
no, I'm not into all
So
that.
when you in The Walking Dead, when you die, everybody turns into a zombie. You don't have to just get bit. But if you die, you turn into a zombie.
So if you die, you get the corona.
No.
So I think it's a great idea that they're continuing with the UFC events and just getting rid of the crowd. It makes sense, even for the pay-per-view. It's like
How long do you think
gonna-
that's going to continue? You think it'll go past this weekend, that they'll keep having the fights? and
Yeah,
doing
they
those?
moved UFC Columbus to the UFC Apex, which is a smaller facility, doesn't host a crowd, and they'll be able to air the fights. So I guarantee you the ratings are going to go up. Everybody's cooped at home or
Well, there's nothing else on, too.
right.
So
All the other sports
you
are
gotta-
canceled.
You have a captive audience there.
No, in the basketball game, I forget which game it was, but I was watching it, and they canceled it, and the guy on the bench was sick. He had the virus, and everybody was like, "Get away from me!" They were like, "Whoa!"
Shit.
Well, did you see he did an interview like the day before he knew he had it, and he was joking about it, and he's touching all the mics and messing with everything.
Yeah, that's right.
He was joking around in the locker room,
Karma's a bitch.
and he did that, and that he has a teammate that has it now too.
Oh, I bet you it's likely the whole team's going to come down with it. They're all close quarters, touching the same stuff in the locker room.
Yep.
You're scaring me now.
So it could spread really quickly, and that's exactly why they're doing this shutdown and shutting down workplaces. Schools are doing an extra week of spring
Hey,
break.
man.
Got
You coughing over here?
Timbo coughing
The
over here.
fuck? Dude, put your mask on. Put your mask on. I'm for real. You coughing that shit over here. You're
I'm scooting
fucking.
closer to the Joe show.
Oh, gross.
So avoid close contact. We're doing away with the Nucks and going to Air 5s.
It's gonna change the world. Nobody's gonna touch
No
each other.
contact,
No
yeah.
contact.
So, yeah, it's definitely something, and this is unprecedented to have
All the girls at the
the
club.
fights with no event, no crowd.
It will be very interesting, I think, to watch a fight without that, because even
It'll be
watching
just like when they fight in Japan.
or it'll be like watching some of the prelims where, and when I watch those, like you can hear the coach.
At least
and
you
can
won't hear woo, right? You know what I'm saying? When it's quiet, you won't hear the Ric Flair.
You might have a few family members out there trying to get that going on.
Right.
Or twist his dick.
Yeah.
Twist his
You shouldn't hear any like weird comments from the crowd. There is
You're
no
not-
crowd.
You're not going to hear. You're not going
You're
to
gonna hear the
stupid stuff.
coaching. It'll be a very interesting.
You'll hear the coaching.
look
You'll hear
on
the
it.
hits, even like we were at the bomb factory where
Yeah,
you
you'll
hear all
nice-
that.
nice
It'll
and
be
close.
very different.
All the grunts and the slapping.
So let's get into this past weekend and review some of the fights. We'll get to LFA. That's more local, but for the fans, everybody that watched the UFC, it was totally unexpected main event with Joel Romero.
There
and Israel
was
Adesanya.
a main event.
Right?
The main event were the ladies.
Yeah,
They stole the show.
The ladies stole the show with absolute banger. Everybody's talking about Joanna's forehead.
She looks like she's going to be a new character in like a Star Wars movie or something.
Star Trek. She's
Yeah.
like a Ferengi.
But you got to respect, her pushing through that and continuing to fight when your head's swollen that bad. You feel it every punch.
Does that mean she did a good job of keeping her chin down and just
she
leading her
took
with
them all to the forehead,
she
right?
was leading with the
She
forehead.
took some major shots to the forehead, and she held up. I mean, she was fine after the fight. There wasn't any fractures. She was released from the hospital. There was no significant injuries, just swelling. I mean, when you get a hematoma, imagine getting a knot on your forehead and then punching it and smashing it
Again and again and again.
It's for 25 minutes.
Did you hear Cormier? He yells out to Joe Rogan, Joe, she punched the bubble. He was like, ooh, Joe, she punched the bubble. There was a meme going around.
Oh, man. And, just imagine if she would have cut her forehead open.
It would have been gross.
It would have been gruesome.
But, man, what
That's just full of blood.
is that what it is? Blood and,
It's just blood.
yeah.
The blood goes to the spot because there's damage.
Because everything else is below your cranium.
It's between the skull and the thin skin on the forehead.
So, wish her a speedy recovery. We'd like to see that one ran back. I thought Joanna won the fight, despite the difference in the way the face looked.
Man,
But
technically,
I feel like she outstruck her in 3 of the rounds. But
to the head, I don't, or to the, because I
No,
saw the punch stand.
Joanna
Yeah,
outstruck Wei Ling.
her technique was flawless that night.
Mhm.
But when Wei Ling came in, man, she was
hitting her with the power shots.
clocking her,
doing damage.
and that's what the judges were seeing, and all that damage on
All
her
the
face.
damage.
Wei Ling was
you
pretty
could
beat
win
up.
a round and then just wearing the damage that you or from a different round, the judge might look at you and just. I mean, judges. They're
Yeah, who knows?
judges.
The judges are just
The
judges.
judges are judges. They're human and they're less human than the rest.
I
of
thought
us.
it was close. I mean, through the whole fight with all
It
the
was
rounds,
extremely close.
I mean, it was. I watched it again, and I'm like, man, it was still really hard to say. Okay, who won this round? I mean, they both stood there, throwing punches, kicks, going after each other. I mean,
Mhm.
one would throw a punch or a kick and
It
counter
would
with
be
a punch.
they would land a combination and then the other one would return with a combination. Usually, Joanna's really good about those return combinations, ending with the leg kick, making it look really clean. She's really fun to watch.
It was a fun fight. Just think, man, the money to be made on the rematch if Joanna would have won.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, there's still. I believe they're going to run it back. Dana sounded like he wanted to run it back, but they're
Anytime you
both
have
going to
something
take
that
some
good,
time to recover.
It's gonna be six,
I mean,
6 months.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
they're dinged up
yeah, they're not sharing pictures of how they look today
because after
all that swelling on your forehead when you ice it and stuff, that all goes down, like
And
down
I
your
did.
face.
Yes, I did.
And then you
shit.
got the red and or like purple and yellow mask. You know how a bruise looks like when it dissipates, probably through the eyes. She probably has bloodshot eyes. It's probably
And she
Pretty
said
freakish
she
looking.
said it was giving her problems. For one, it hurt. For two, she could feel it.
yeah.
Your head's a pound
Every time
heavier.
you get hit in the body, you feel it jiggle on your head.
Yeah. It's like having a toothache or something. Every movement hurts.
Yeah, and it probably still hurts.
I bet it
Well, then
does.
I heard she was having surgery, but not on her head, on something on her ear. I mean, the article
we're,
let it in like
we're
she's
also jacked up. You fix it after the fight. You know what I mean? Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. She probably fought through a lot of things. And then the Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero fight was a freaking snooze fest.
It was a snooze fest, but then you look at the end and you look at Yoel's leg. I mean, all the knots and stuff that ended up on
He
his
was
right.
fine. He was freaking dancing at the press conference. I mean, he might have been a little banged
It
up.
looked banged up. It looked worse than what it was. What you're saying?
Do you remember his interview?
Yeah, and that's all of his interviews.
I was like, what is he saying?
Yeah, I thought it was a terrible game plan from Yoel. I thought he needed to wrestle. He needed to try to push the action, take Israel Adesanya down, and as he stood up, land those strikes. As he did, later on in the fight, you take him down, even if he pops back up, you're still in a scramble. You can catch him in a scramble. You close that distance, and that was the issue for him. And, at the beginning of the fight, it looked like he was just pacing himself, just waiting, but he never turned it up.
He never kicked it into second gear.
And Israel, he's the champ and fought a smart fight. And you can't blame Israel. You got to blame Yoel. He's got to go.
He's got to
take
take
it
it
to
to
the
him.
champ. And
people were still giving Israel a hard time about it. He lackluster.
what's supposed to do?
performance
Run forward to get knocked out?
yes, I mean, and that's
That one, early in the fight, Yoel landed one overhand right and
Right.
knocked him like 4 feet sideways. After that, he was like, uh-oh. Like this guy.
Yeah. You taste the power, and you're like, maybe
I'm not
be
going straight
smart
forward
about
with that,
this. And Yoel being the shorter fighter, he needed to close the distance, and he just didn't do that. So, missed opportunity for him.
Two counter strikers.
He regrets it. Yes, 2 counter strikers, and I believe the first round the strike count was like 3 to 4. Like
Yeah, it was.
yeah, something.
I don't think they threw anything in the first half of that round.
Yeah.
I mean, they just kind of paced around, stared each other down, like, okay.
Dude, they didn't throw, I mean,
And
Yoello stood there.
I'd like to remind you of something I talked about before. These guys are traveling the world week by week, going to all the UFC events.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think their training camp went? Their training camp's on the road,
Yeah.
right? So they finally get to their big pay-per-view main event, and they've been doing all this media press tour.
Kind of jet lagged, feeling.
They're not
100%.
as well trained as they would have been if they were, in a 6-week camp when they're not
Traveling, where they're just staying in camp and working hard.
Yeah, so I feel like that kind of thing does take a toll on the fighters, but the few and the elite are able to still perform. I mean, they went 5 rounds, but 5 rounds of more or less standing around.
It's about 3 minutes of fighting.
Yeah.
In that 25 minutes.
Right.
And I think it took Wei Lee like 20-something days to get here because she
had to do quarantine.
She moved camps to Thailand,
Thailand.
and then had problems leaving Thailand, and then finally. So it was a long trip. I was worried about that. I was wondering how her conditioning and her.
Yeah, and there's going to be more issues just like that leading up to the, pay-per-views in the UFC fights coming up. People are going to have a hard time traveling. There's a ban on the UK.
Can't buy toilet paper.
Are they going to have them get there 2 weeks early and do a self-quarantine, and then I'm like, all right, you've been here 2 weeks, you're clean and you're good to go?
They probably have
They're
a
probably going
test.
to test them.
Yeah, a little swab. I
I
think
would
the swab.
imagine
like
they're
the
going to
flu.
test them.
Like a little mouth swab, just like the flu.
It just makes sense,
Yeah.
If
They test them for everything else. I mean, women are being tested for if they're pregnant.
They test them for HIV, Hep B, Hep C. Now, I mean, in the following weeks, months, they should be tested for corona, so they're not in there. One, giving it to the other fighter, 2, the ref, trainers, teammates.
Mm-hmm.
It could be.
Yeah, you
could be a major issue.
bring it back to your home gym and like I said,
South by Southwest was canceled down in Austin.
Yeah,
Big
all of
events.
these sporting events. The Fight to Win super fights this weekend at Gillies just got canceled as of today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they were trying to go ahead and push it along, and the owner and management at Gillies decided, no, we're not going to do it.
I have concert tickets next week at Lava Cantina.
I bet they cancel that.
I bet they do.
Concerts will be canceled, and yeah, all these.
Well, they had a
public
concert there last
gatherings.
night though. They didn't cancel. It was I forgot who it was.
Well,
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
More than the people or than the virus, I would worry about the crazies, especially in highly populated areas like Dallas, because the media likes to incite panic. And all it takes is one person to say, this is what I've been training for, and grab a trash can and throw it through a window and run in there and start looting. And, if they start shutting down stores, it can be, it can be a major issue in populated areas.
I'm going to go fill up my tank.
So
head for the hills.
I would be more concerned about the people
The crazies.
than the virus. And, stay strapped.
Have you? Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Have you seen that movie, The Crazies?
uh,
It's a zombie movie. It's funny you just brought that up because that was actually a movie about fast-running sprint zombies that ran like 4.4s in the 40.
yeah, I mean that is more of a concern than the actual virus. 'Cause people are
going to go as it gets worse, and that panic even gets
Some
more. I
people
mean,
use
you
any
see the stores
excuse.
are already selling out of stuff. I'm like,
I haven't had any toilet paper in a week.
thanks for sharing.
I just went shopping last night and stocked up for everything that'll keep me alive for 2 weeks.
Cans of tuna.
If they shut down the stores, then that's when you got to start worrying about people getting robbed, people breaking in, trying to steal your stuff. So, I mean, just be prepared for the worst. That's all I'm saying. Don't take it lightly.
All right, I gotta go after that.
Put on your gas mask.
So, shoot, we're about to go to commercial break. Let's not talk about anything else.
Yeah, let's not talk about.
Prepare yourselves for a commercial break. This is Fight Fit Radio. We'll be back after these messages.
Oh, show.
3, 2, 1. KVGIRadio.com.
Y'all have really just opened my bubble and just.
KVGI Radio brings you conversation and entertainment. Be sure to follow us on social media. 3, 2, 1. KVGIRadio.com.
Y'all have really just opened my bubble and just.
KVGI Radio brings you conversation and entertainment. Be sure to follow us on social media. Who streams the best talk shows? We do.
I don't understand why it was. I mean, 2 weeks ago it was at Costco. They're buying water like it's.
You're listening to KVGIRadio.com. Streaming live from the KVGI studios in Frisco, Texas. Live without limits.
Peterson.
Dude, what do we do?
So,
Our leader's not here.
man, going back to last weekend, man, we had a blast last weekend. Friday night, we were down at Deep Ellum, the bomb factory for LFA 83?
83, correct.
83. Who's the main? Oh, let's start with
Where do you want to start?
Baby Johns. Elijah Johns. EJ, known as EJ. Man, I got a great interview with EJ. If you go onto our Fight Fit page, check out the interview. He put on a show, man. He came out and whooped that dude. He threw a couple of body shots, got that guy's attention, took him down. I can't remember. Was it a rear naked choke or a ground and pound?
Ground and pound.
It was a ground and pound. So, man, look for big things coming from EJ, man. He
He looked strong. He looked sharp going out there. I mean, he took it to
chiseled. The young man was chiseled. So I got the interview after the fight, and man, just him bumping into me was like a brick wall. I was like, damn, this kid's for real. And everybody knows, who his brother is, Miles John, who recently got picked up in the UFC and has done a pretty good job, working his way up through there. So we'll see what happens with EJ. I look forward to see more of his fights, and man, I've seen him go through a couple of wars.
Yes,
he lost a decision. Was it last year sometime? And I was there at that fight. We were both sitting cage side, but man, it only raised the stock.
And that was a split decision. So
it was a split decision. It was a war. He fought a veteran opponent who was also on the card that night. What was his name?
Eddie Brown.
He fought Eddie Brown, and Eddie Brown beat him by a split decision. But it was a good fight. Eddie Brown's a veteran. So good interview with him.
He's improved. EJ's improved quite a bit since then. The one post that I saw comment that I saw reposted was from Miles. He's learned so much more about his brother and the time that they've spent in the gym and training to get in the cage than he did living with them when they were younger.
Hey man, I tell people I teach martial arts, Rockstar up in Frisco, and I tell my students all the time, you don't know yourself. You don't know who you are until you've been in battle. You really don't know who you are. You will learn a lot about yourself getting punched in the face or throwing punches or getting in a fight, losing fights, winning fights. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about yourself in training and a lot of, where your mental breakdowns are. And
exactly. I mean, and that's everyone says, okay.
And you've trained. You grew up in martial arts too.
Yes. I mean, and every time you go into that battle and you come out of it, you're like, okay, you review what you've just gone over, what you learned, the pros and cons. And if you've lost that battle, you walk away and you really sit down and analyze it. So you are constantly learning about yourself and how to improve yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, man, even back in the day when I was sparring a lot and competing, I remember a couple of the fights I won, but I took so much damage that I was like butthurt. I'm like, it hurt my feelings. I was like bummed out for like 2 weeks. Even though I won, I was like, God damn, that dude beat the hell out of me. And it hurts your feelings for a long. I mean, like it gets in your head. So you really learn a lot about yourself in battle.
Yes, you do. Yep.
Who else was on that card that was good? What about Malik Lewis?
Malik Lewis had a. Excuse me.
Malik Lewis,
man.
Hey, glad to have you back.
Sorry, I had to take that call.
Ocho is here.
Man, that was
that Dana White?
Fun freaking card. LFA,
I know. We were just talking about it.
I know.
Okay, go ahead.
The whole night. I mean, it's exciting all the way around.
Yeah,
we're just talking about EJ.
From the moment we got there, EJ kicked off the card. He was the first fight, and just wrecked the dude. That kid's got so much potential,
dude. He does,
and I think he's starting to finally realize it, and he's kicking it in the next level. So I'm really excited for his future. I believe he's 6-1, 7-1.
Climbed to 6-1.
Yeah, and clean TKO, no damage. I mean, just
yeah. He didn't.
He went through a few opponents. No, people don't want to fight him.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him on the contender series. Yeah, really
I
quiet.
thought he was coming on the show.
Soft spoken. Yeah, he wants to come on the show.
Yeah,
so
let's
we'll
come
have
on
to
here.
book him if we're still here next week.
Yeah, if we're still alive. No, he was. I got a pretty good interview with him. At LFA. You can watch it on our Fight Fit page. Check out that interview. But man, a nice guy overall.
Yeah, really nice dude. Class act.
Yeah, for sure. And then I got an interview with Malik Lewis after we fought David Luna. So Malik Lewis.
Classic. And after I watched that interview, I thought the most entertaining interview I think I could ever want to see in MMA would be Derek the Beast, the Black Beast Lewis,
and
being interviewed by Joe Show.
Oh my God, we would tear it up. Oh my God.
My favorite part is when Joe Rogan interviewed him and he said, "My balls was hot." Joe Rogan says, "I understand." You say something wild and he just. He plays it off really normal.
Joe Rogan,
I understand.
Quick. So Malik Lewis got kneed in the nuts 4 times.
And still came out with a victory on that.
He flying kneed that dude at least 4 or 5 times.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
David Luna was David Luna.
Like, how many flying knees can you land in a fight?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't drop the dude. Like, more credit to David for staying standing, but I mean, he had a clean performance.
Yeah, and was it ref Don Turnage? Was it that ref? He took a point eventually.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
For a
oh
little,
yeah. I think if you knee a guy in the nuts once, it's a hard warning.
Mhm.
Twice, you should take away a point, whether it's on purpose or not, because
And how do you tell when those are really on purpose or
but
not?
it doesn't. If it's on purpose, it's a DQ. If it's a flagrant foul, it should be a DQ. You knee somebody in the nuts, you're fighting dirty. Out.
4
Fuck
times.
you. You shouldn't be in the sport.
Exactly.
You don't belong here.
But I mean, my question is
an accidental, which it can be because you're rocked. It could be because you're tired. If it's not flagrant, then they should take a point on the second one. Take 2 points on the third one. The fourth one, DQ. Regardless, you're not prepared to be in here.
Malik finished it
low
in
blow
2 rounds.
Takes a toll
Yes.
on the fighter.
He
You know
said,
what I mean?
in the interview, the first thing I asked him, man, how are your nuts? He's like, man, they hurt. He told me the last shot made his liver hurt. And he got
It'll make your
sick.
stomach sour. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just takes all the life out of your legs.
He's probably still throwing up.
Dude, you never know.
Yeah,
He-
you can do some serious damage.
yeah, I mean,
Even with the cup.
he probably put ice packs on when he got home. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah. And then to kick off the main card on UFC Fight Pass, Fernie Garcia from Fortis MMA. Absolutely
Jeez. Dominant. I mean-
dominated him.
It looked like bare knuckle boxing.
Well,
Didn't it?
Well,
only-
all right, so
only on-
in the MMA gloves, these
Are
knuckles, the second knuckles, are exposed.
Uh-huh.
So Fernie was just tagging him up with those knuckles and just splitting him up. It was
I thought
pretty gruesome.
I thought for sure that was done in
After
round 1 because of the blood and the cuts.
Right.
Guy had a cut on his eyelid, and one was
Some
Like
doctors would have stopped it due to the placement of the cut. The blood's not the amount of blood isn't an issue.
in the fight when he's taking both hands and trying to wipe both eyes at the same time so he can see. He's obviously can't even see at all.
Right, but the fact that he was still game and he's still facing he wasn't shying away because of the blood, and it wasn't impairing him to the point where he couldn't defend himself. He was just too slow. I mean, he wasn't.
he looked
Fernie
a little
was-
older too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was in his 40s.
Was he really?
And,
I
you know-
still have a chance.
And he was just a tough dude, and Fernie was just way too quick for him. And
Not one kick
Fernie's
the
a good
whole
striker.
fight. I mean, it
He did
literally
throw a couple knees to the head.
like two.
But I would have
took a while,
liked to
but-
see more body work. I feel like he could have
it was all head
broken
on
him apart. Well, he was landing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he was,
But both guys,
Yeah.
like literally, there was a couple of knees in the whole fight, maybe
I know.
one kick.
Joe's over there yelling, "Throw a kick! Throw a kick!"
yeah,
God, he was
one
so-
head kick could have been over, but Fernie
Right.
was hesitant to throw the kicks because he didn't want to get taken down.
Because that guy was a jiu-jitsu
Guy was a
guy.
brown belt.
Ah,
Gotcha.
Fernie's good on the ground, but I mean, why go where the guy's strong? Why give him a chance? If he's
Yeah.
slow,
If you have
he's
a, you have a good game
throwing
plan, you
wide
stick to it.
punches. Just stick to the game plan. Outstrike him.
I bet Fernie's hands were hard.
I mean, some judges scored that 30-27, and two of the judges, one or two scored it 30-26. I thought it was like a 30-24 or even less. 10-8 rounds. Every round.
Oh boy, what's his name? What was his name? The opponent's name?
Jay Viola.
Jay Viola was not backing down. He was still coming
he was
forward.
coming forward the whole
Yeah.
time, but he didn't.
Tough.
I mean, he landed maybe a handful of strikes the whole fight.
Dude,
He was outclassed in the whole fight. 10-8 rounds, at least 2 of the 3 rounds.
But what a tough dude with a ton of heart, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
No,
want to?
much respect.
Yeah,
Much
you don't want to
respect
fight
for
that guy in a bar.
Oh, no,
No,
no, he won't stop.
no. He'd beat the hell out of you and all your friends.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually, he'll drag you to the ground and.
Yeah, you'd pound his head for 30 minutes and then he'd choke you.
Yep.
I won.
That's what matters. Who ends on top, right?
Yep, that's right.
And then
Who wins the last round?
Vernon Lewis fought. I forget who he fought. He fought the guy that Greg Hardy fought on the Contender Series.
Austin Lane.
Austin Lane.
who was a former football player as well. He's a
Yeah,
big,
he was a big dude.
dude.
Vernon fought a really smart game plan. Took him to the ground,
And just
mounted him, and
Remember that?
ground
But ankle lock on
Yeah, I
him?
was just going to say that.
Yeah, it looked like he was like working on that toe hold
Mm-hmm.
when Vernon was in side control or something, and it was like Vernon was like not even worried about it. I was like, "Oh, you
But-
should probably do something about that before you
That's what I kept thinking. I mean,
your
it
ankle
was-
snap."
I was watching it bend, and I'm like, it made my ankle hurt.
Hey, I'm
like,
sure
oh,
he got uncomfortable at some point, and he was like, "Okay, I gotta
do
stop this."
I looked away.
And then he turned it
Didn't want
on.
to see it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could have been bad, but then he cleared the foot and mounted and just pounded him out.
Both big dudes. Vernon Lewis is big,
Mm-hmm.
big and thick, big dude. The other guy was a little taller and muscular with his dreads and stuff. But big, is it Big E? They call him Big E.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that guy move up. You know, he's about on his way to moving up to the big leagues, I think, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
He's had a pretty long run.
Give him a contender series fight.
Yes.
I think he deserves it. I'd
think
like
so.
to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Another mentionable on the card was Haley Cowan.
Haley Cowan.
Haley Cowan. Yeah, she did a
Fought.
good tough fight. I mean,
What was the
back
other
and
lady's name?
forth.
Brittany Cloudy.
Brittany Cloudy was no joke, y'all.
No,
Now
that
they put on a,
throwing down.
Throwing
That
down.
could have been.
it could have gone
Friday
either way in
night.
that. I mean, because that was a split decision.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I was standing by during that fight, they're like, Brittany's got this. Brittany's got it. I mean, they all
She-
kept saying that, but
You know, she was out striking Haley with the hands. She was a little longer. She had crisp, sharp. She caught Haley Cowan with a few shots.
Mm-hmm.
Haley would, but I think Haley had the ring control. I think that's how she won it.
I don't know.
Land a few kicks. I don't know. It was hard to say.
It was a close fight.
It was
a
super
close fight.
close.
I didn't see either one of them just outclassing the other one. It was. I mean, each round was up for grabs.
Yeah, and some people didn't agree with that. At Haley's victory, I thought she squeaked it out personally,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean squeaked.
Well,
it
when
out.
it's that close, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't throw up. I mean, you can't throw a fit because the decision. It was.
Well,
I mean,
even-
it was a race. It
I
was
would
a
like-
split decision.
there was
Okay,
even a fight before that.
One
with
judge said one person won. Two judges said the other person won. I mean,
Mhm.
and when it's that close, there's going to be a conflict of opinion.
Well, I got the interview with her after the fight, and she was not, and you can see that on our Fight Fit page. She wasn't happy with it. She's like, well, you
she
know,
wasn't happy with herself and her performance.
Right.
with
I
her
mean,
self-performance.
yeah, you can't be too happy about a split decision victory.
that close.
Yeah,
it
that
could have been a draw. If
Right,
they'd have said draw, I would have like, that was a draw.
I'd like to see more draws in MMA, especially in close fights like that, because somebody's getting paid half the amount and somebody's taking an L on the record. I'd rather it be a draw on my record than an L.
And to make more draws, I think you need to change how it's scored.
Right.
And here's what I think: with all of Haley's athletic gymnastic background, let's see it. Let's
You
see.
want her to be more dynamic in
She
that?
needs to be more. She's got it. I'm like, to me, it looks like she's holding back. She's not.
Well,
I mean, not one flying.
Keep
like,
in mind, she's locked in a cage with somebody trying to hurt her.
yeah, but a flying knee and some,
Right.
some flash goes a long way too.
But did you see when she got knocked down? I mean, she rolled and took
yeah.
her tumbling to it, and she popped back. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like backwards somersault across the mat, pop right back up. Like, okay, I'm good to go.
I want to see her fight like the Brazilian guy. Come out and do some flips, some back flips.
It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy. You
But
see
I
them
think she
gas
could.
up.
I think she could be more dynamic.
Hmm.
Yeah, more kicks, more head kicks for sure. Right,
Mhm.
set the kicks up.
Yeah.
It didn't look like she was setting up her combinations or finishing her combos.
No,
That-
she's got these really good tools, but
She hadn't put them together yet.
Yeah, there's no plan in implementing them. It was
Yeah.
like, when I was early in my career, it was like
Mhm.
head kick, flying knee, Superman punch. They're like, coach is like jab.
Yeah,
Jab.
right.
Like why would I jab when I could throw a flying knee right now?
I would
Like
like
so much better. Huh?
Like, I got the energy. I'm just gonna, and you think all I need to do is land one, But
And-
you jab and you set it up really nicely, and then you could actually land it. That you don't see it coming from a mile away.
She had a pretty good spinning back fist.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
That just missed. If she would have turned that into a
And she
reverse,
fought
spinning
Deborah
elbow.
Kuzman and hit her with the spinning back fist too.
I didn't know she fought Deborah. That's a quite
Maybe-
a size
maybe-
difference.
No,
Yeah,
I'm tripping.
because Haley's pretty big.
Yeah, she's been throwing the spinning back fist.
yeah.
I've seen it.
If she'd have
couple
shortened that
times.
up with a little elbow, man, that'd have been it. That might have been it because she had some whip on that. But Cloudy, man, look out for her. She did really
Yeah.
well.
She did really good.
I'd like to see her
She
in
did.
that
She
fight,
did better at putting her combos together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit straighter jab, long. I'm sure the reach was. She was pretty tall.
And she was a collegiate runner.
Oh, it looks
So
like it.
so
Super
she has
explosive.
she's explosive. She has that endurance to go out there and really keep going and pushing it through all the rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gave her daps at the end of the fight. Like, hey man, it was close.
Yeah,
you know,
super close fight.
They run that. I'd pay to see that one again.
Mm-hmm.
I'd pay to see that again. Is there a women's LFA championship yet? I know Holly Holmes had
Holly
it.
Holm was the champ, and I don't think there's been one since.
Huh.
Possibly could be wrong. Let's check up on that.
Yeah.
Prepare yourselves for a commercial break. We'll be back after these messages.
3, 2, 1. KVGIRadio.com.
Y'all have really just opened my bubble and just.
KVGI Radio brings you conversation and entertainment. Be sure to follow us on social media. Who streams the best talk shows? We do.
You're listening to KVGIRadio.com. Streaming live from the KVGI studios in Frisco, Texas. Live without limits.
Prepare yourself for an entertaining and somewhat informative hour of MMA Talk Radio.
My mission here is to motivate.
Out of the red corner, Joe Show. Out of the blue corner, Timbo Slice. And your host, Fight Fit Lifestyle founder and UFC fighter, Stephen Ocho Peterson.
And the crowd goes wild.
No crowds right now, though.
No crowd. It's just silent. So, think about the introductions.
The walkout.
Kevin Lee. Cricket. Yeah, the coaches.
Yeah.
The coaches, his mom.
Yeah, so if Israel Adesanya was fighting and he came out dancing, they were like, nobody to watch him
Nobody.
dance.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd just be out there busting
There's
moves
no
on
show.
some-
Well, the show's for the cameras now.
Yeah.
So back to the LFA card. Damon Jackson main event. Just
Looked
absolutely
strong and
annihilated.
powerful as
guy.
ever.
I mean, he's always every time he's been the main event for LFA, ever since he lost to Kevin Aguilar, he's just totally brought down the house and took out his opponent in the first round.
Because
And
he
17-3 right
in-
now. I mean, that's a
17-3.
That's an awesome record. You think, okay, where's he going to go next?
Yeah.
I mean,
His
sticking
only
around
loss
it-
is Yancy Medeiros in the UFC
Uh-huh.
when he took the fight on a week's notice, went up a weight class. Kevin Aguilar, LFA title fight where he was winning and he got caught, got knocked out.
Hmm.
And then the PFL.
He just got caught.
Yeah, just got caught.
Yeah. That could happen to
Early
anybody.
in the first. It could happen to anybody.
It was
So,
like, yeah.
you know, 3 not bad losses. He has a draw in the UFC, which I thought he won, and then he got cut. And I thought he won the fight. I was confident he won the fight. Very upset. And then he has another no contest. One of the guys he fought got
A lot of fights.
popped for steroids.
Hmm.
So, 17 wins, a ton of finishes. I think Damon needs to be back in the UFC. I mean, it's his time.
Yes, definitely.
He's top-notch fighter. He could be the best without a doubt.
And it's got to be frustrating for him because he's just
Well, he made
Merkin-
it.
he's
Yeah, he
Merkin
made it
dude.
early in his career,
yeah.
and he wasn't quite ready,
Mm.
and basically left a bad impression. And
And now he's just walking through the competition in LFA.
yeah,
So it's got to be frustrating. He knows he belongs in the UFC.
Yeah.
Or a big organization.
hey,
like
it
that.
could be simple as politicking and getting the fans behind him and causing some buzz.
He
But
has
yes,
fans.
he had a. I mean, there's.
He brings a crowd.
Yes,
with
he
him.
does.
I mean, most of the crowd there was for Damon.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was the main event, but he sold most of those tickets by hand.
Wow.
I mean, he gets people from Durant, Oklahoma, drive all the way to Dallas just to watch him fight.
I mean, you
It
see
was a
how many
draw.
people were there wearing his shirts.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, it was amazing to see.
Yeah. He is a draw, and I think the UFC would be smart to sign him.
Make some money.
Yeah.
Especially when he's in Dallas. Start him off in Dallas shows.
No doubt, and he's a finisher.
Mhm.
That's what they want.
What weight class did he? 40.
45, I
45.
believe, 55 as well.
Okay.
So I'd like to see him at 55, maybe put a little muscle on, but he's finishing guys at both weight classes, so it's up to him really. And then this weekend we got some UFC fights happening in silence. Kevin Lee missed weight by 3.5 pounds.
Was that 55?
Only 3 really.
What was it?
Well,
He weighed 158.5.
yes, but doesn't he get the 0.5?
He gets 1 pound allowance, but I think if you miss weight, then it's 1 pound allowance. So you're fighting at 155 and you get 1 pound allowance. If you miss it, then you miss weight by
By the total.
the total amount away from 155.
He hadn't
2
he doesn't normally
pounds,
miss
2.5,
weight.
3 pounds. He missed weight.
He missed weight pretty badly, and he's the shorter opponent. Charles Oliveira, submission specialist, good Muay Thai, a lot longer, and looked sizably. He looked a lot bigger. I don't know how Kevin Lee missed weight. He must be really dense, but it's gonna be a tough fight for him.
I think Kevin Lee will get him though.
Well,
think so?
based on stats and what we talked about before, I'm going with Kevin Lee because he didn't have to cut that extra weight. He's going to win the fight.
Right.
It's
The
an advantage.
majority, 8 out of 10, or I forget what we.
I think you said 8 out of 10
I
times.
looked up the statistic last time when we talked about it, but the majority of the time, the person that misses weight ends up winning the fight. So that's an interesting
So,
fact.
I wonder.
They give up 30% of their purse and make 100% more.
So, did the betting odds change on that then?
They should. They should take that in consideration.
They should. I wonder if they really did change much.
I bet you a lot of people will buy in, and the betting odds will even out.
Joe Rogan just posted he canceled his show tonight at the Hollywood Improv.
Yeah.
Damn.
No mass gatherings.
That's
Did you
crazy.
see he had some doctor on the other day?
Talking about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, you better be serious about it. I've talked to doctors, and they said, don't worry about it. So who knows?
Yeah, just be safe. Better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of other interesting fights on this card coming up. I mean, I bet this is going to be the most watched UFC on ESPN Plus card
Yeah.
thus far.
I'll be watching in a mask. Who's the co-main event? Damian Maia.
Damian Maia and Gilbert Burns.
And these are two submission artists. I think Damian Maia just absolutely outclasses him.
just gonna
But
wipe
Gilbert
him out.
Burns is world champion in jiu-jitsu. He's
So
making
the bet on
major
this
waves.
fight would be, will it go to the ground in the first 10 seconds or 30 seconds?
Yeah. I mean, Gilbert Burns is pretty good at, defending the shots. Maybe he'd like to keep it standing, and, if he's an expert on the ground, he can avoid going there.
Man, Damian Maia's been out a long time. He's in his 40s.
Oh, been fighting a long time.
Been fighting a long
And
time.
he's been fairly active.
Yeah, he has.
So that's going to
Sometimes-
be an interesting, more of a chess match fight to watch.
But see, to me, those are fun to watch.
I mean,
because
yeah.
you don't see it all unless you
And
go
there's
to the
no
grappling.
crowd, so no Ric Flair woo.
Woo!
And it'll be nice and quiet and respectful of, the chess match going on.
What do you think their walkout's going to be like then? As they get ready to walk out, they're like,
Well, it's not going to be in the arena. It's going to be in the.
no, this one's in an
No,
arena.
that one's in Brasilia.
Oh, it's a Brasilia.
Yeah. They're going to be fighting in the arena, and then the UFC Columbus card got moved to the Apex. Because they're already all in Brazil. They got everybody over there. They're not just going to cancel it and waste all
and
that.
drive and flying back here. So all right, now we're going to
Yeah, that's
fight here.
more risk, right?
Yep.
So
they're going to
Makes
put them in
sense.
an empty arena. So they're ready for their walkout, and they're going to kind of walk out, look around like,
it's going to be eerie. It's going to be extremely eerie. So, I mean, I'm interested in watching it. What's his name? Fighting Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's fighting, coming
Yes.
back. He just got beat up by
The guy who got
brain
knocked
fart.
out by.
the guy.
Damn, that's how quick you forget their name when they lose.
Right.
Damn.
Well, you still remember Johnny Walker though,
Yep.
because he's dynamic.
how about are you
Corey
talking about
Anderson.
Corey Anderson?
Corey
Yeah,
Anderson, right? And Corey Anderson was running his mouth after that. Got knocked out by Blachowicz.
Yeah, which
But
is a bad dude. You
They
better
were
watch out for
talking
that
about
guy.
Johnny Walker and hyping him up. Like if he would have won that fight, he would have got a title shot.
Yeah.
And now it's like, where does he go now? But if he goes out there and gets a few more flashy knockouts, I mean, who's he fighting?
I think that loss was just a hiccup. Was just a
Right. I was there live, and it
Ah.
looked like he never got off, and he never got started.
because he came out worried about entertaining and dancing and flipping around and
Johnny Walker just took the fight to him. Just hands, never gave him a chance to be dynamic. And that's the type of fighter
talking about-
Johnny Walker is.
talk about
Corey Anderson.
Corey Anderson, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Corey Anderson comes and get whooped, and
Right.
he was bumping him gums.
Right. Yeah,
It's a tough
thing
game.
about the sport is,
It's a tough game out there.
especially at light heavyweight, it's anybody's fight. It takes one mistake.
Uh-huh. Beat him
If
up.
you're going to go out there and run your mouth, you want to stay out of the cage for a little while and just keep pushing yourself up, building yourself up, and making yourself more of a media person, kind of like
McGregor.
McGregor, Triple C's leaning that way. I'm like, all right, get back in the cage. I'm ready to see him get back in there and do something.
You think Wei Lee's ever going to fight the blonde champion? What's her name? Valentina.
Different weight classes.
Yeah, but
But they jump around weight classes.
they could meet it. What was the weight though?
Yeah,
Oh, it was
Weiling's pretty big.
but that was 115 though.
Yeah.
So
Weili,
they'd have to go
Shevchenko is not that big.
yeah, but Shevchenko would have to go down to one. They'd have to meet at like 125. I'd like to see that fight, but I think Shevchenko's the greatest right now. Am I saying it right? Valentina Shevchenko.
Correct.
Yes, I think she is pound for pound the best right now, guy or girl. She's been the most dominant, best technique, stand up. I mean, she's great. So I'd like to see that fight, but Wei Lee would have to come up to at least 125. And I don't know if Shevchenko get down to 125 or if she'd even want to, if it's a waste of time for her. But it'd be a good fight to see.
Another one we got on the card is Bea Malecki. Should be on the undercard. And
looks like she is the first fight of the night, so be sure and tune in early.
Tune in early.
Like 5 o'clock, 4:30?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in Brazil.
It is in Brazil.
So what time does it start, Bimbo?
Well, this says 3 p.m. Eastern time, so that would be 2 for you.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, so afternoon fight.
ESPN Plus.
Yeah. She's
All right.
out there with Cheyenne Buys, JP Buys' wife, LFA fighter, soon to be UFC fighter. And
okay,
I think it might just be the two of them out there. Flights are iffy getting to and from, so they're out there to handle business and get that win.
That's going to be a good fight. She's fighting at a 35?
Yeah, 135.
135.
And she is bigger than me.
Yeah, she is.
She's she's like a supermodel type body, super thin.
What is she? She's the Barbie something. What's her nickname? The
Oh, yeah.
Bea the Barbie Malecki.
The Bad News Barbie.
Bad News Barbie? That's her fight name?
Hey, she's like 6 foot, so you look up to her.
Yeah.
She's Swedish, and she says that she's small compared to the people around there. So
she's all legs.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Strong, very strong.
Yeah. And she had a kickboxing career before that. She was a Muay Thai
she was a
fighter.
Muay Thai champion.
Yeah, good for her.
And then went to MMA, and I believe she's 4-0, 5-0.
Trains with, when she's in Dallas, she's training with Macy Chason a lot.
She lives out here now and trains with us full time.
Her MMA record says 1-0 on Tapology.
That's her UFC record. She
it shows
she fought on the she fought on the show, and she fought before that.
It says it shows that she has a exhibition bout. Leia Letson.
The UFC's not going to sign her at 0-0.
I thought
I'm just
she's
telling
fought.
You what I'm reading here on Tapology.
She's fought twice in the UFC, though, I believe, right?
No, once. And
once.
I think part of the problem might be her early fights were in Sweden, so maybe Tapology doesn't have record of that.
Gotcha.
But there is record of those fights.
That's good. So
yeah, look forward to seeing her go out there and handle business.
And who is she fighting? A Brazilian girl.
Yeah, it's
Veronica.
What's her last name?
Machado.
Somebody's wife. One of the other UFC fighters' wife.
Machedo. Machado.
There's no H.
Oh,
Khalil Roundtree's wife.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And he's another UFC fighter.
Yeah, he was on the
you
show.
Haven't heard of him?
Khalil Roundtree was on The Ultimate Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And his story, he was obese and got in shape. He was like 300 something pounds and dropped down to the 185.
One of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens with that dude. That's a tough weight class he's got to fight in. Unless you're,
it's 185.
I thought it was 185, 205. I might be wrong.
Might be 205.
Could be.
But anyways, tune in early. The fight started at 2 o'clock Central, and I think the main card starts at 4 or 5 Central. That'll be on ESPN Plus. Likely on ESPN, since all the other sports are canceled. They're going to want to fill that airtime with something, so they might go ahead and pick that up. Makes sense to me. I mean, what the hell else are they going to put on?
Yeah, there's nothing to watch right now.
I think
there's no sports.
Basketball
fans are going nuts.
There's a dog show or something on.
Really? I love watching the dog show. It's pretty cool, actually. You like the dog show, don't you? Yeah, see? So, dog show's good.
Yeah. So stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Hopefully we'll be back on next week, entertaining as ever, talking about whatever happened. Schools are shut down. I believe even we're shutting down the gym next week, likely, unless something changes.
Damn.
It's probably going to get worse before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
They're really going to shut down your gym?
Yeah, you got all these up-down people traveling and coming back into town and
sweating all each other.
Yeah,
you're going to close it down to the general public, you mean?
Right. I mean, anybody training for a fight, they're going to have to get ready for the fight, and then close training partners will probably be included. But, we got to limit contact with how many people you contact.
So Span's supposed to be fighting next week in London, right?
Right. And as far as, that card's still on.
Yeah.
It's going on as planned.
Really?
Yep.
No audience, though, I bet.
No audience.
Yeah.
Wonder when
Span was looking good, man. We saw him this weekend, man. He's big. Man, that guy's big.
Yeah, he's super athletic.
Yeah, he's big. He's got giant
Ready
legs,
to see him go in there and handle business and, look forward to seeing what happens over the next week. So
that'll be good. Saw Charles Bird, too, was out. Man, the whole
Fortis
crew was at LFA.
We roll deep, man.
Yeah.
Support.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
all support, man.
So Charles Bird said he's getting ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's exciting. He's one of my favorite fighters, so can't wait to see what that guy can do.
Yep, we'll keep you posted on the show. Thanks for tuning in. It's Fight Fit Lifestyle Radio. We'll see you next week.